Yeah, my name's Shamsi Kazimbaya. I work with Promundo, and I'm the Senior Program Officer for Promundo based here in Kigali in Rwanda, but coordinating the work almost in Africa and other part of Africa, of course. So Promundo is a feminist organization doing basically working with men and boys for gender equality and also violence prevention. And Promundo is a global leader in this work. Promundo is based in Washington, D.C., but you're having partners in different parts of the world. And Promundo is today, it has started more than 20 years ago. And our work is mostly focusing on research. And based on the findings of the research we are conducting, it informs our interventions or our programs in different countries. And what we are doing in implementing or developing programs is, of course, working with men and boys, trying to redefine what it means to be a man or a real man, or in other words, trying to transform masculinities. Because it's all about, how men have been socialized and how most of the societies, especially in Africa, where I'm based, define what it means to be a man. And most of the time when we conduct those research, when we ask the question, what it means to be a real man, we see that most populations or most societies, a man is defined as being a tough person, sometimes a violent person, so we try then to transform and to see how to redefine a so-called real man, because we see that it's very much linked to the violence that we see women being victims of. And also relating this to the trade business, whereby, especially in the countries here, the bordering countries from Rwanda, we see most women being involved in formal trades, and whereby they are most of the time victims of violence. And those cases of violence are made by men, unfortunately. So we see that it's really very important to involve men, to sensitize men, and to see how men can be more supportive and more positive to these women. Because again, in most of African families, whereby most of the populations, most of the families are poor, and when the woman is involved in this trade, being formal or informal, she brings something at home. And also it helps also that man who supposed from the traditional definition of a man, just be feeling more, less stress, more relaxed, because he has someone, that woman, who can support him in providing for the family. So it's really very important to sensitize that man to feel that he should be supportive to that woman, so that actually there is equal balance in providing for the homes. So talking about human or gender security, what we do concretely is that through our partners, whom we try to build their capacities and then continue with providing technical assistance. So we regroup men in small groups, what we call gender transformative group education, whereby we bring men to start discussing on what it means to be a man, on negative masculinities, and also providing alternative on how they can become better, then they can become more positive, more sensitive, more supportive to the women. So this is actually our role as Promundo through our partners, to see how men can be supportive to women involved in the trade, in these countries. And this is not only in Rwanda and the neighboring countries, but also in West Africa, because we see actually that in most of the societies in Africa, women are the ones at a very big percentage being involved in informal trades. So it's really very important, because when I talk about gender equality, it involves both men and women. So it's really very important that the man understand also their role and how better they can be supportive.
Como é que o poder público reage perante este fenómeno, este comércio informal realizado especialmente pelas mulheres? Gostava de ter ideia de como é que isso acontece. Obrigado.
So thank you very much, Eduardo, for your question. So first of all, of course, this phenomenon exists in Rwanda as well, given that we're having a number of bordering countries with very intensive activities regarding informal trades, especially made by women. crossing the borders every day. So on the state side, I would say that the supportive system that exists is putting in place some laws that support those women, and also structures working with the police and other institutions. But talking now about our role or what we are doing as Promundo with our partners, since we are involved in the work related to women's empowerment, but also promotion of positive masculinities, we do work with local partners to sensitize men, of course, together with their partners, with the women, but focusing mostly on men, on how they can be supportive to those women in those informal trades. Because talking about informal trades, sometimes it also involves, women being victims of violence, different form of violence. And most of the time, those cases of violence, we see that men are the perpetrators and women are most of the time the victims. So as Promundo, through our local partners, we train those men, we sensitize those men to be more supportive to those women. Because again, what we have seen that even though they are in informal trades, but in the end, those women also are becoming supportive to their families, including those men. So just trying to make men feel like or understand that it's really important to support those women so they are safe and they do freely that trade, of course, with the support of the government. How do they do to involve men and boys so that they also have the views, or they try to understand the attitudes and behaviors of those men, since they are talking about gender equality or gender balance, so actually it involves both men and women. And since the result of the research are informing advocacy work, I'm just wondering whether those men are involved to make sure that actually the laws that they are trying to advocate for are really gender sensitive and also taking into account views of both men and women and are not really biased.